Little cuties.
Ready? Yeah. Okay. Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Jay. This is Comfy Fat, and we're here for another episode of Jay Learns Things. I've got my friend Shane here. Shane, can I ask you what pronouns do you use?
Yes, I use he, him pronouns.
Great. I use they, them, theirs pronouns. Shane here is going to teach me how to drive a manual car. Can you let everyone know where people can find you?
Yes, so you can find me on Plus Size Trans Guy on Instagram. That's it right now, but hopefully more will be coming soon.
More coming soon. I like doing this kind of video because I love talking to people about what they're passionate about or what kind of skills they have.
I wanted to teach Jay how to drive a manual because my dad instilled in me when I was very young that if there's an emergency situation, like somebody gets bitten by a snake or breaks their leg or cannot do something, that if the only car available is a stick shift, somebody has to know how to drive it. And so I've kind of taken that mantra throughout life. I feel like it's very unlikely. But
Terror trauma.
Exactly. But I feel like it's probably just useful to know how to drive one.
I've always kind of felt like manual cars, like a stick shift is kind of like going back in time technology-wise. Like, why would I want to do that if an automatic can do it for me? Like, do we need to also get rid of electricity because we like to use candles more? But then it comes into mind that the rest of the world pretty much uses manual stick shift cars, right?
And it's much cheaper.
And it's cheaper, it's better for your gas, and in the what if scenario, I would be screwed.
Let's check out Shane.
I mean, I have been. Oh. So first we're gonna have Shane sit in the driver's seat and teach me the ins and outs of driving stick, and I'm gonna try to observe and not freak myself out too much, and then I'm gonna give it a go.
They're gonna do great. They're gonna do great.
Let's get to it.
There we go.
Yay.
Such cuties.
We are cuties. So walk me through how to drive this vehicle.
So there are a couple of different things to remember. The biggest thing that is going to be your best friend is the stick shift right here. Mm-hmm. So when you're driving in an automatic, the car automatically knows when your engine is building up like RPMs, mm-hmm. and so it will shift for you so that you're able to drive at a better pace.
Well, and you can kind of feel that in an automatic, right? It's just like so subtle.
Mm-hmm. But then the other important piece is the clutch, which is going to be your best friend, which is something you've probably never used before. And once you get used to it, it feels like second nature. So when you start the car, the only way you can start a manual is by pushing in the clutch all the way to the floor.
All the way, like it's like far
into the floor. Push it all the way into the ground and you'll turn your key. Your car should also be in neutral.
Oh.
The only way you can be in park in a manual is with the e-brake.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing to know.
So if you have the car on and you don't have it in park, you will definitely just start rolling.
Okay, so there's already a lot of steps right now. First time, what's it called? Clutch in. Mm-hmm. Then I'm turning key.
Yeah.
Then I go to this guy.
Then to this guy.
Great.
So you've got clutch in, car's on, e-brake is down, and then you get ready to go to your best friend, the gear shift. Once you've got the car on, you still want to have your foot down on the clutch all the way in. This is really the key to ever doing a stick shift, and so your feet are going to be doing this motion. If you can see both of my hands.
There you go.
Put it into gear.
Okay.
This little map on top of the gear shift will tell you where the gears are.
Okay.
1 is like 0 to 10 miles per hour,
mm-hmm.
and then 2 is 10 to 20, and then 3 is 20 to 30. So you've got the clutch all the way down, and you're going to pull your stick over to the left and shift up for first gear.
Okay.
And this is where that fun motion is going to happen.
Okay.
So if you can see my feet at all, it might be helpful.
Yeah.
And so what you'll do is you'll start lifting on the clutch and pushing on the gas at the same time, and you will feel the car start to move, and then that's when you can release the clutch and push on the gas. So the biggest thing that you're going to want to feel and what's normal is you're trying to figure out where that give is, and so where your car starts to move, and when your car you can start pulling back on the clutches when you feel it start to move. You really don't have to push that much in this manual because you'll start to feel it roll anyway, mm-hmm. and then you can slow into your transition.
Okay.
You want me to go over it one more time?
I think I want you to go over it when I'm like sitting there.
Totally fair.
Because a lot of these things are like abstract. It's like, ooh, you're gonna feel that give.
Yeah.
Like there's no science to tell me
what that give feels
what that means. All right, man.
You ready?
We're gonna do this.
You're gonna do it. I'm gonna get you all the way back so you have tons of room.
Oh yeah.
And you're gonna be able to do it.
We're doing
to
it.
The top.
Here we go. Okay.
How you feel pedal wise?
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to reach both these.
And I don't know if you need to go all the way. Let me see. Push in that clutch real quick. You might be able to without having to go all the way back.
Okay. We've got our keys.
You've got the keys.
I need to...
Clutch down.
And then do it? It's not work. Oh man, I don't know if I can do it.
I could try and take the door off and see if it helps.
I think it's more an issue with the
steering wheel.
Yeah, because I'm just like so fucking short, man.
Push all the way down where you can.
Okay.
And then you will put this, you'll want to hold the clutch in when you're ready to go into gear.
Okay.
And you'll want to take off the emergency brake. Let's see, I'll help you out. There you go.
Oh, okay.
And then you'll grab this, and I'll mimic with your hand if that's okay.
Yeah.
And so you'll push over, go up.
I don't have my foot on anything.
Go ahead and on your right foot, go ahead. Oh, see, there you go. There you go. There you go.
Oh shit.
And then where your right foot is.
Uh-oh.
There you go. There you go. You got it. You got it. Where your right foot is, just remember where the brake is.
How do I stop?
There you go.
Uh-oh.
You're good. You're good.
Oh god. Oh god.
You're good.
Is it stopped?
Yep.
Oh, that's hard.
It's a lot of work.
My toesies are like just
Pushing on
barely
it, like,
touching
getting
it.
on it.
Man, this might not work for me. I don't think I can be a manual driver regularly. Well, now how am I going to turn around?
Look at that. Look at that. Just so smooth.
I'm driving.
Yes.
Shit. I let go.
And so now that's when it dies.
Like literally, I'm like laying down.
Yeah.
It's hard. See, this is as far as I can reach and it's not far enough.
Yeah, you really got to get in there.
Yeah.
You want me to take you for a stroll?
Yeah, we could do that if Shane's okay with it. I can't really do it much. I can't like turn the wheel
Yeah.
while I do it.
Right.
Because I have to like basically lean like this.
Yeah.
Just kicking.
Wait. How'd you do that? Do you have your foot all the way on the thing already?
Yeah, babe. Vroom. You're like, I gotta go fast.
Don't kill it.
See, I know. Well, you can be certain I'm not gonna kill it if I'm giving it that much goddamn. Oh, the brake's on.
Right.
Okay.
Because there's no
got
way
this.
for you to be in park without it being on the e-brake and in manual.
There you go.
Look at that.
Wow, it's just so easy.
Yeah. Look, babe.
Oh, what's that sound mean?
That means
You
I
gotta switch.
No, I'm good. Look.
Oh, you just waited out.
You don't have to, but
Yeah.
it's preferred.
you just do what you do what feels natural. You know. Look.
I don't know, it's Shane's car. I feel like we should do whatever he wants.
I did it.
You did so good.
It is hard being this far from the. I haven't done this since I've been fat. It's interesting.
I'm over it.
You went across the parking lot.
You did.
That's like actually amazing.
Okay, here's the thing. I feel complicated about this. I just feel like, man, it's a bummer that like something really is this inaccessible to me. Like I tried moving my body around. It still was like really hard as like a short fat person to like reach both pedals.
Well, it sucks because I think
All
that
three.
I think that you work really hard to make your life accessible, and so we don't run into many things
Right.
that are actually inaccessible.
Yeah.
But you also have to remember that like truck drivers that are your size are a thing.
That's true.
So there are stick shifts out there that work, and not only that, there are ways to make this more accessible. If you really wanted a Jeep, you can pay to have them put the pedal extenders out.
Right.
So like it's not that this is completely inaccessible.
Right.
It's just that it's not completely accessible for you.
Yeah.
It's frustrating when, something that's easily accessible to so many people and something you want to take part in, it's like, it's a feeling you don't think about to not be able to enjoy that piece because of something that is so silly.
So that didn't actually go as expected. Driving a manual, I feel like, the last time I did it, I was in driver's ed, so I was 17 years old, in a smaller body than I'm in now. And I didn't expect it to be as difficult physically to do. I thought that I would have more of an issue with just like stalling it all the time and worrying about breaking Shane's car. But I really physically could not reach the pedals or sit comfortably and enough to be able to move the steering wheel because it was so close on my stomach. And I did try to move the seat back as much as possible and everything. So it's surprising and a little disappointing and also like challenging my stuff around being a fat person, being a super fat and having access to resources and things and not having the ability to do things that other people can. So before we got here, Shane and I had discussed a little bit about accessibility issues around the Jeep. I knew that Jeeps were kind of tight. I've always wanted a Jeep, so I was really excited to give it a try anyway. Shane is like so wonderful and like looked into taking the doors off and stuff to try to create more space, which I think would have helped a little bit, but not for the issues that I ultimately had at the end that made it really impossible to drive. We did talk about it ahead of time, it's just like things were unpredictable.
What's the first thought you have when you run into something that is inaccessible?
My first thought is that my body is wrong for this and not necessarily putting the blame on the thing or the space, but on me. My second thought is I think about what Carissa says, which is that the space has failed to provide room enough for everyone. Just like restaurants that we walk into where we find out that we can't fit, we think also like, if we can't fit, neither can people in wheelchairs, and so if the restaurant didn't think of people like us and people in wheelchairs, then they clearly failed. And for some reason that resonates with me. But my first thought still is that I'm embarrassed and that it's my fault.
You okay?
I'm good. Shane's giving me very intense eye contact.
Sorry.
And it's good because I like appreciate humans who like care to do that.
Yes.
And also I was afraid to look at you because I might cry.
People who have different identities or marginalized identities who always find it to blame themselves first. Like, I think so many of us have internalized that the way that we are, the way that we navigate this world is because of our fault or that's something we did wrong. When I think people take this fit-all approach to so many things that just don't fit individual identities. And I think you can find that with people of color, with queer people, with trans people, with people with disabilities, with people of all different varying sizes. I think we're so used to we don't fit the mold and it's our fault because of something we've done wrong, or we're being punished, or we're, not doing something correct, when really it's a reflection of how people are so fucked up and thinking that a one size fits all can fit anybody.
People really say like, well, why don't you just lose weight? And that means that they really think we should not be living our lives out in the world until then.
Yeah.
Which is wild. Shane, what words do you use to describe your size? Because like we've been referring to ourselves as fat, and I call myself super fat. What words?
Yeah, I definitely use chubby because I think my experiences as a chubby person are very different than somebody who identifies as a super fat or might wear a different size than I, because the things I navigate, while there might be some challenges, I don't think mine are at the same scale of people who identify differently than me in relation to size.
This whole experience of like trying to drive a car that doesn't fit my body does feel especially threatening to put on YouTube. I've had comments that are very, very like disturbing, and so it kind of feels worrisome that I'm like giving them more content to just tear me apart with. And at the same time, I feel like I am doing this so often, and people attack no matter what I do, that like it's kind of expected, and I feel a little bit of relief in knowing that I am capable of handling the mean comments, because I've gotten really awful things for doing absolutely nothing but existing.
I think I definitely have shared that like fear of vulnerability online, because I remember from the moment when I came out as trans at Mizzou, when I was a student here, from the moment when I shared that I was crowdfunding for top surgery, or that I was coming out as trans publicly for the world to see, from that moment people took my identity and my existence into their own opinions and made lots of atrocious comments and talked about my weight actually, and like saying, if this person would actually just lose a little weight, maybe they could have a cheaper surgery, or there were a lot of things that were going into where that intersection of size and my trans identity really created this environment for people to just say very hateful, derogatory, like detrimental and awful things, to really make me question my existence and my right to be who I am, and like my ability to really feel confident with who I am. And I think that that's been something that I've carried with, because from day one that I've always been nervous to actually let it out. But I think as I've been on testosterone for 5 years, been out as trans for about 6 years now, the more I do it, I'm like, if somebody has an issue, that's something that they're dealing with themselves, and it has no reflection onto me. That's so easier said than done, because when you're reading comments, you're taking it in, but I've really just stuck to not reading them sometimes anymore, which sounds so simple, but it's so hard to do.
I'd be interested in just knowing like your experience, your response to me getting frustrated with that.
Yeah, I think whenever I see something that doesn't fit, or when I see something that could be harmful to somebody, whether it's intentional from somebody else, or the size of a car, or the size of a piece of clothing, or food, or anything that could be inaccessible to what somebody needs, I really try to take in that I can relate back to that feeling of having something that doesn't work for me, or I can relate back to that feeling of how painful it is to know that something that I want to enjoy or experience isn't as accessible to me as it is others. And so I really try to root myself back in that feeling, and remember that in some points there are no words that can fix that feeling. There are no like magical solutions that you can always provide. And so being somebody who's willing to listen and really validate what somebody's feeling gives me the opportunity to not make it about me and really make it about what that person is experiencing. And then after taking it in, listening, and really trying to relate to what that person is feeling, then I always try to bring it back to what action steps can I do to make you feel comfortable. So, trying to listen to what you need in that moment. So if you were like, I want to keep trying, and then I'd be like, okay, what can we do differently to make it feel better for you, or what can we do to switch the scenario up? Or if you're like, I'm done, I don't want to do it anymore, which is totally understandable, letting you be done and saying you did a phenomenal job anyway, because that's true. You have to go into this place of selflessness because it's really not about you at all, and finding out what is the best solution to help that person. And I think so many people try to surface it, or just say it'll be fine, or if you try a little bit harder, or try doing it this way and it's going to make sense. I don't think any of that really puts it in the hands of that other person. And so you have to truly get back to this place of selflessness to say, it doesn't matter what I'm feeling or what I think about this person's experience. What is this person feeling, and how can I be somebody who serves them in the best way by listening to what they need and then validating that and fulfilling it.
I felt that from you in that car, especially because I think it's important in those moments. I felt like my power was gone, that the world is against me. Reacting the way that you did puts the power back in my hands, which is like, it's powerful. Power is powerful.
Yes.
I feel very thankful to you, Shane, for coming up with this idea, for giving me the space to be vulnerable, for being willing to do this video with me, and just being so vulnerable back.
I'm just thankful to be able to share that space with you today, and for you to trust me enough to be supportive of you in that environment. And I also am just thankful that you traveled all the way down here to hang out with me and get to know each other and actually become friends, not just over the internet. But I just wanted to thank you for letting me be a part of your journey and being a part of this video.
Tender queer friendships.
Couldn't make Carissa cry.
Alright, that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because you can see me put out videos sometimes. And I will see you all later. Hearts and rainbows. Bye.